Okay, section 5 is all about powers and square roots. And the first question is 10 to the 3 times 10 to the 2. Now you just need to remember that if you're multiplying powers of the same thing, so powers of 10 in this case, then the rule is add the powers. So the answer that gets you the marks is 10 to the 5, because 3 plus 2 is 5, and you add the powers. It's not about working out a number with loads and loads of zeros. You get the marks for 10 to the 5. Then the next one, 10 to the 3 divided by 10 to the 2. Now when you're dividing powers of the same thing, powers of 10 in this case, then the rule is subtract the powers, minus. So 10 to the 3 divided by 10 to the 2 is 10 to the power of 1, because you do 3 minus 2 is 1. Now anything to the power of 1 is just the number itself, so you get the marks for just writing 10. Right, square root of 9 plus square root of 16. Now this question is kind of to trick you, because there isn't a rule for combining square roots when you're adding them together. So the mistake you might make would be to think that it's the square root of 25, but it's not. When you're adding them, then you just have to work out individually what they are. So the square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. The square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is the answer. On to December 2011, square root of 121, should know that. 11 times 11 makes 121, so the square root of 121 is 11. Now, 2 to the power of 5 means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. It does not mean the same as 2 times 5, so that's the common mistake that people make. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 is the answer, not 10. Next one, 10 to the power of 5 plus 10 to the power of 3. Now, again, this is another one that might trick you. There's no rule for combining those two terms, so you just have to work them out the long way. 10 to the power of 5 is a 1 with 5 zeros. 10 to the power of 3 is a 1 with 3 zeros. So if you add them together, you get 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 101,000. You can't combine them to make 10 to the power of 8, because you can only do that when you are multiplying, and here you are adding. Right, the next one, 10 squared divided by 10. 10 squared is 100, so that's the same as 100 divided by 10, which is 10. Or you might think about it in terms of powers, and you might say 10 squared divided by 10 to the power of 1 makes 10 to the power of 1, because you're subtracting the powers. Moving on now to December 2013, 10 squared times 10. Well, that's 100 times 10, which is 1,000. Or you can think of it as 10 squared times 10 to the power of 1 makes 10 to the power of 3. So I'd accept 10 to the power of 3 or 1,000, but don't ever write two answers, because if you write two answers and one of them is wrong, you probably not get the mark. So pick your answer and stick with it. Okay, next one, root 36 plus root 9. Now when you're plussing square roots together, there is no rule to combine them into a single term, so you just have to work them out individually. Square root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. Square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. So the answer is 6 plus 3 makes 9. Right, the next one. 4 times 10 to the power of 4. So that's 4 times 10,000 plus 2 times 10 squared. So that's 2 times 100 plus 3. So that makes 40,000 plus 200 plus 3. 40,203. It's just a question of doing the calculations in the right order. Multiplication first, or powers first, and then multiplication, and then plus. Perhaps that belongs in a different section.